Over 80% of the indigenous population in the Americas was wiped out within the first century of European contact, a staggering loss of life that was largely fueled by the relentless pursuit of gold, riches, and conquest that defined the age of exploration. The conventional narrative of brave explorers and pioneering settlers has long been touted as a testament to human ingenuity and progress, but beneath the surface of this sanitized history lies a complex web of violence, exploitation, and cultural destruction that has been carefully concealed from public view. As we delve into the darker aspects of this era, it becomes clear that the age of exploration was less a heroic quest for discovery than a ruthless campaign of colonization, driven by the insatiable appetites of European powers and facilitated by the brutal suppression of native populations. The ravages of disease, which spread rapidly throughout the Americas in the wake of European contact, were merely the tip of the iceberg, as native peoples were also subjected to forced labor, enslavement, and outright massacres at the hands of their colonizers. The infamous conquistador Hernán Cortés, often lionized as a visionary leader, was in reality a ruthless mercenary who oversaw the brutal subjugation of the Aztec Empire, massacring thousands of civilians and destroying entire cities in his quest for gold and glory. Similarly, the English colonization of North America was marked by the wholesale slaughter of native tribes, who were seen as obstacles to be eliminated in the pursuit of land and resources. As European powers vied for control of the New World, the exploitation of native labor and resources became a central aspect of their colonial enterprises, with the forced labor of enslaved Africans also playing a crucial role in the extraction of wealth from the Americas. The transatlantic slave trade, which saw millions of Africans forcibly abducted from their homelands and transported to the Americas, was a key component of the colonial economy, with enslaved Africans being subjected to brutal treatment and forced to work in appalling conditions on plantations and in mines. The devastating impact of this trade can still be felt today, with the legacy of slavery and colonialism continuing to shape the social, economic, and cultural landscape of the Americas. The myth of the noble explorer, who bravely ventured into the unknown to expand the boundaries of human knowledge, has been thoroughly debunked by historians, who have revealed the ugly reality of colonialism and the destructive impact it had on native populations. Instead of heroic figures, we find calculating opportunists, driven by a lust for gold, power, and prestige, who were willing to do whatever it took to achieve their goals, including the use of violence, deception, and coercion. The Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama, for example, was instrumental in establishing the sea route to India, but his journey was marked by brutal violence and exploitation, as he and his men attacked and plundered native villages, enslaving and killing countless innocent people. As we continue to peel back the layers of this dark history, we find that the age of exploration was not just a series of isolated events, but a complex and interconnected web of colonialism, slavery, and cultural destruction that spanned the globe. The legacy of this era can still be seen today, in the ongoing struggles of indigenous communities, the persistence of racial and economic inequality, and the continued exploitation of the global South by Western powers. The age of exploration was a time of unbridled greed and violence, driven by the insatiable appetites of European powers, and its impact will continue to be felt for generations to come. The sheer scale of the destruction wrought by European colonizers is almost incomprehensible, with entire civilizations being destroyed, cultures being erased, and populations being decimated. The native peoples of the Americas, who had lived in harmony with their environments for thousands of years, were suddenly faced with the arrival of foreign invaders, who brought with them diseases, guns, and a ruthless determination to claim the land and resources for themselves. The impact of this trauma can still be felt today, with many indigenous communities continuing to struggle with the legacy of colonialism, including poor health outcomes, limited economic opportunities, and a loss of cultural identity. As we reflect on the darker aspects of the Age of Exploration, it becomes clear that the conventional narrative of this era is in dire need of revision. The heroes of this story are not the brave explorers and pioneering settlers, but the native peoples who resisted colonization, fought against enslavement, and struggled to maintain their cultural identities in the face of overwhelming oppression. The true history of this era is one of violence, exploitation, and cultural destruction, and it is only by acknowledging this dark legacy that we can begin to move towards a more just and equitable future. The Age of Exploration was a time of great upheaval and transformation, but it was also a time of great tragedy and loss. As we look back on this era, we are forced to confront the darker aspects of human nature, including our capacity for greed, violence, and exploitation. The legacy of this era continues to haunt us today, a reminder of the devastating impact that human actions can have on the world around us. And as we move forward, it is imperative that we remember the lessons of the past, lest we repeat the mistakes of history and condemn future generations to suffer the consequences of our actions. The Age of Exploration may be over, but its impact will continue to be felt for centuries to come, a haunting reminder of the darkest aspects of human nature.